right, students, I'm going to have you use this video to correct and see how you did on your Algebra A worksheet from your packet. So if I begin with the first one, I have 4p minus p. Remember that if there is not a number in front of it, we can think of it as if there's a 1 in front of it. So if I have 4 p's and I take away 1, I'm now at 3p. Right? Going on to the next one, again, I can think of this as being 1x plus 7x, and that ends up equaling 8x. Now, those ones had terms that were exactly the same, none that were different. If we approach 3, we can see we have a 6m and a negative 4m. So 6m minus 4m would leave me with 2m's, and then I just bring down the plus 3, because that does not have the same variable, so therefore it is not a like term. In the next one, I have a 6x and a positive 2x, which means I get to 8x plus 3y. Following on to number 5, I have a 14ab and a positive 21ab, which means I now have 35 ab's plus a 7m. Moving on in this one, I see a few different combinations of like pairs. Typically in algebra, when you're writing them, you start with and put them in alphabetical order. So I would start with the 4x and the 10x, which would be 14x. Then I'd move on to my y's, which is a 16y and a 15y, which are both positive, which adds to 31y. And then you always put the constant at the end, or the number without a variable. Again, remember that the sign in front of it names the variable. So if I move on to number 7, I now have a negative 3x and a positive 8. So 8 minus 3 would be 5x, and I bring down the minus 4. Watching for the place where I have two signs, remember adding a negative is the same as subtracting. So I have 5n, and I'm taking away 8n, so I'm now at negative 3n. And then I take away 1 more n. So now I'm at negative 4n, followed by a plus 3. Again, I see the double sign. If I start with my c's, I have a negative 6c. If I add a 5, that gets me to negative 1. And then I go back down further to be negative 9c, and I bring down the minus 2. Now, if you had negative 2 minus 9c, that would be okay. These two are both equivalent expressions. So long as the sign in front of it is the same, they really can be in any order. 4n minus 5n would be a negative n. Again, we typically will not write the 1. Plus 5. Okay, 4 more remaining. If I start with my u's, I have a negative 1u and a negative 6u, which means I'm 7u in the whole. I have a positive 4n and a negative 3n, which leaves me with a positive n. And if I look at the 7 is positive, so it'd be plus 7. Again, these could be in different orders, so long as your u term had a negative 7 in front of it, your n had a 1 in front of it and was positive, and your 7 was also positive. Moving on to number 12, I see my opposite of a negative, which makes that a positive. So if I wanted to go in order, I could start with the 7 minus 9, and I'd have negative 2, plus a 2n that I brought down, plus a c. You want to clean up those double negatives in between to be in simplest form. If I followed the rules of algebra, putting them in alphabetical order, it'd be c plus 2n minus 2. And there still is a third way you could have that as well, and that would be okay. Right, again, I see a double negative, so I want to do the opposite of a negative and make it a positive. I have no other x's. I have no other constants, but I have 1y, and I'm taking away 9y's, so I'm not negative 8y. And lastly, with the 3ab's, I have a negative 3ab and a positive 5ab. That would be 2ab minus the 4w plus 9. I forgot to make the opposite of a negative 4 positive. If you put it in the order 2ab plus 9 minus 4w, you would be okay as well. Both of these are acceptable answers. Okay. Hopefully all is going well when it comes to simplifying expressions. The one thing that I just want to add is that if at any time, let's say if I looked at number 10, if this was 4n plus 5 minus 5n squared, one that is squared does not have the same, is not a like term with one that does not have a power. So if this was the expression, this here would be in simplest form because there are no like terms to combine. Like terms mean exactly the same variables, including to the powers. Again, if you have any questions, please reach out to me. Have a great day.